Hello, my name is Jude Feranmi. I'm KOWA Party's National Youth Leader, and I have a very important message to young Nigerians currently in the country right now. Every morning, or let's say every week now, you wake up to a fiery speech about how young Nigerians need to do something about this country, how power is not served a la carte, how young people need to do something. And then you look in the afternoon and then you see a speech lamenting how in some days in the 1960s or 1970s there is young people rose to do something about this country. So you start to question why young Nigerians of our generation cannot do anything about what the current political status quo is, why the current political atmosphere does not even allow the young Nigerian to participate. The Not Young to Run campaign, for example, is a campaign that is looking into what young Nigerians can do and the roles that young Nigerians need to contribute to our current society. And so, there are different arguments on either of the sides, whether you agree that young Nigerians even have anything to contribute in the first instance, or whether you support the fact that yes, we can contribute something, but there's very little that we can do. There are lots of campaigns that have said that if you want to do something, come up and let's do something. And when you look at the civil society space, you find out that young Nigerians are the ones occupying that space and trying to advocate for a better society. So what do we need to do at this point? I currently lead the National Youth Caucus of a political party, and that caucus is consisted of young Nigerians who are passionate, enthusiastic, and energetic about what needs to be done, what is the next step, and how we can take our country back, because now that's the cliché. Since April 2016, that's this year, that the National Executive Council of my party emerged in a convention. We have been working assiduously to engage young Nigerians, and our emphasis on the young Nigerian is not a mistake. It is a deliberate attempt by the National Executive Council and the Board of Trustees of KOWA Party to be able to create a conducive environment for the young Nigerian to participate. Because like I said, we know that the young Nigerian has so much to offer. And again, you can like to think that the young Nigerian doesn't have a job, the young Nigerian is still on the street hawking, but we are not appealing to the worst of us, we are appealing to the best of us. And we know that young Nigerians, where they are right now, are disrupting industries, are creating innovation in the private sector, and we need to bring that to the political sector. So that's why they've nicknamed us the social media party. And like our director of new media likes to say, it shows to a large extent the success of our engagement with young Nigerians via social media, via new media. And the reason is simple. That is where we can find young Nigerians on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, watching videos like this, just because they want to engage and find something to do about Nigeria. So what's the next step for us beyond social media? National Youth Caucus under my leadership is coming up with a program, and we have already rolled out to our members, and I want you to know about us. The National Youth Caucus under my leadership has started a grassroots movement that we call KOWA microgroups. And so we are an upcoming political party. We don't have the financial capacity to hold town hall meetings, hold policy meetings and events and activities like we would have loved to. And that, to a large extent, has been able to limit the amount of engagement that we have physically, limiting our engagements to online activities in the National Youth Caucus. But we're going a step further now. We call it the KOWA microgroups, and it works like this basically. It means that in a microgroup, there are 15 members or less. So that, and this is intentionally to ensure that members of that group can meet regularly. So a microgroup contains of 15 members of our party or less, and at least 5 members of our party. And they meet once every 2 weeks, engaging in discussions that are in line with the party's agenda, and engaging in local community projects that are going to be able to impact the local communities, and set up a structure that will be easy for us to mobilize members of our party all across the country. Much more importantly, expand our base and reach out the gospel of our party to other intending members. This is the next step. And I want to implore every member of our party who's listening to this to participate, to get involved in one way or the other. Now, we are reaching out to as many members of our party who would want to lead microgroups in their communities. But how do you start a microgroup? Or if you are interested in leading a microgroup, what happens? Usually, a microgroup contains of at least 5 members of our party and at most 15 members. And we have structured every microgroup in such a way that by the time the membership is up to 15, the microgroup splits into 2, so that there is room for more expansion, there is room to create more leaders, and there's room to expand and increase the number of microgroups that we have in a particular local government. So how do you start a microgroup? You need 4 other members. If you're interested in leading a microgroup, you need 4 other members of our party to join you and then meet regularly and follow the constitution of a microgroup as it has been laid down by the National Youth Caucus. If you're not interested in leading a microgroup and you want to participate in one, all you have to do is find a microgroup nearest to your community and participate and join in meetings, join in community projects that we will be rolling out very, very soon, and in the activities that are happening in your area. I need to make explicitly clear that this grassroots movement is especially designed for the National Youth Caucus, and that contains young members of our party who are between the ages of 18 to 35. So it doesn't matter whether you are on campus, it doesn't matter whether you are in a community, it doesn't matter whether you're a business professional. Now, there are different categories that we have created to accommodate these categories of people. So if you're on a campus, there is a structure for a campus microgroup. It means that if you're on a campus and you're a student, you can get 4 other students of yours to join our party, and then you can have a campus microgroup. If you're in a local community, you can have a microgroup in your community. If you're a business professional, you can have a business professional microgroup that meets on lunch hours between the hours of 1 to 2 on Wednesday. These are the categories of irrespective of where you are, what you are doing right now, or where you're working, you can participate at the grassroots level in your community. If you want to know more about, if you're interested in leading, or you want to know more about the microgroup structure that we have starting out this month, you have to send us a mail at microgroups@kowaparty.net, and you can also send me a text message indicating your interest in leading a microgroup at 08053488282. That's my personal number, and you can be sure that you get a reply from me. You know, one of Martin Luther King's most famous phrases is what he called the fierce urgency of now. And going forward, I think we need to understand as a young generation of Nigerians that is the stage where we are right now. There are statistics that say that in the next 20 years, that's 2036, by 2034 exactly, Nigeria's population is predicted to be 500 million and above. That's 500 million people. Now, think about that for a minute. You have 500 million people. The crime rate has increased. We are still importing food like we are doing right now. And the policies of today that are being enacted by people who are in the echelons of government are the ones that are going to have a direct implication of that future. You know what scares us again? The fact that those who are entrenching these policies right now won't be there. Now, think about any major leader, any major stakeholder in politics in Nigeria today, and in the next 20 years, they will either be dead or useless. And the policies that they make today affect our lives in that future. And in that future, you have kids, you have cousins, you will be someone who has a family that you need to protect. And you will live in a society where you will be questioned by the generations to come as to what exactly did you do to make society better. You know, the way I see it, I see our generation as that generation that is divided into two options. Just two options. The generation that came and saw and did nothing, or that generation that came and actually upturned society for the better. I think that we have the opportunity to make Nigeria a better place. And if we must start at all and take Nigeria on that journey to a better country where our kids will not just know about the state of this country right now because they experience it, but because they read about it in the history pages. I think now is the time to start. Right now. Like I said, if you're interested in leading a micro group, if you're interested in participating, if you're not even a member of our party and you are an intending member or you're a supporter, now is the time to make all that into action. Send us an email at microgroups@kowaparty.net or send me a message 08053488282. Thank you very much, and may God bless you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.